This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 579, for the week of Sunday, July 21st, 2019. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on today's show, we have from Anime News Network, he is a reviewer for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for just a little bit longer, Black Clover, and One Piece. Also, our anime recap host, Sam Leach, is back with us. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, just one more episode of JoJo, and then it's going to be just like One Piece and Black Clover for the next season.
Well, it is a double episode. Episode of JoJo on the 28th. So.
Yeah.
And also check out Sam's review of One Piece episode of Sabo on Anime News Network.
Yeah. And
the English, yeah.
And my review of the newest anime episode, which is I was pretty happy with that review specifically.
Yeah, I read that.
894.
Yeah, I think I read that one. And we also have YouTube sensation himself. He is back. RogersBase, how's it going?
It's going good. Just read the latest chapter, and I uploaded my video from One Piece Tokyo Tower, or Tokyo One Piece Tower, I should say. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm excited to talk some One Piece today.
So I'm glad you reminded me there. We both went to Japan like a few weeks apart, I think.
We did. Yeah, we missed each other by, I think, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, next time we'll plan it a little better there.
For sure.
Because I know Maddie was talking about.
Though.
Yeah, she said she met
Yeah, we hung up. Yep.
Yeah.
You were at the One Piece Tokyo Tower, of course you saw Maddie.
She was waiting for Sanji as usual, so.
She just lives there, I think.
In a tent.
So yeah, how did you like Japan? Was this your first time or
this is my first time, and it was amazing. I mean, I started in Osaka, Kyoto, and then moved over to Tokyo. And I mean, I did everything from going to Osaka Castle, eating at the Dontonburi, going to the Tokyo One Piece Tower, the Mugiwara store, Nintendo headquarters. I had lunch with some Nintendo employees. That was fun too. And I got to do a bunch of shopping, got tons of different statues and manga volumes. And I even met fans randomly. I went to Super Potato and people were stopping me on the street. So I thought that was kind of cool too, to see my audience is international. I liked that. And so, yeah, no, I had an amazing time. It was amazing. I can't wait to go again next year.
That's
what was
really
your
cool.
favorite? What was your favorite part of One Piece Tokyo Tower?
Oh, man, that's tough. I actually really loved Marionette. I wish we could have recorded part of that because I thought that stage show was awesome. And getting to see, I guess spoilers for Marionette, but there's a moment where Cracker punches and kicks at Zoro and Sanji. And that really took me by surprise when I saw that on stage. I loved it. So.
I mean, you could say the whole plot, and it wouldn't really, if you could figure it out. I was gonna say, and it wouldn't spoil it because it's the performances are just freaking great, including Chopper, who's a stuffed animal.
Which is super cute. And Maddie was thankfully able to explain what I missed, which I thought was kind of nice. So
I don't know if I ever got a proper explanation.
Doesn't matter.
You went to Nara too, right? You went to
I did.
Deer
Country?
Country?
Of course. I went to Nara Deer Park. Yep. I went to Todaji Temple.
So did your butt get bitten by a deer? Or
no, my dick got bitten actually.
Whoa!
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you get it back?
Yeah, I got it back, thankfully. I was able to reattach it, no problem.
I think Roger just one-upped me there. I don't know how to feel about this.
I have no envy there.
I was going to say.
Take a bite on the butt.
I caught it on video, actually. It should be in the next blog I put up. So
yeah, I don't know if my butt bite got caught on video, which I think I'm okay with. That's going to be your most popular video, Roger. I think I could say
probably.
That without a doubt, as long as it's labeled. Watch Roger's dick get bit by a deer.
Right.
All the people who love you are gonna watch that. All the people that hate you are gonna watch that.
I know that there's one dude every time I'm on the podcast. There's one dude on Resetera who's like, I hate RogersBase so much. Why do they keep inviting him back? So that one guy is gonna get a kick out of that video.
Yes, he's gonna be like, well, at least I got this video.
Exactly.
So we got a lot to do today too. We're gonna go through, and I'm sure we'll talk more about Japan as we go through this episode. We have chapter 949, which is titled Mummy, which is a really fun chapter this week. We also have the anime recap. And Sam, what do we have going on this week?
We have episode 894. He'll Come, the Legend of Ace in the Land of Wano.
Yes.
So not Ace... confused with the Legend of Zelda.
Ace is back. That's going to be fun. We also have some piece together, some trivia to round things out. A little bit of news we posted over the weekend. So the live action series, we haven't really heard any news since it was announced like 2 years ago today, as we sit here recording this. Originally it was announced Marty Adelstein was the executive producer. Tomorrow's Studios was producing it. And that Oda from Prison Break, right? Oda gave his like 100%, like, I'm going to make sure that this is the best and most faithful series ever, quote. We have that. That's also on the website. But since then, it's been kind of quiet, which I guess makes sense as they're putting it together. But it was announced that Matt Owens of Luke Cage and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is going to be, I guess, the head writer, but definitely writing for the series. So I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on that.
I have not watched either of those shows, but people seem to like them. So
Roger, you've watched.
Oh yeah, I love Luke Cage, but I hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So this could really go either way.
Should I see what episodes he did, and maybe you'll have more opinions one way or the other?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll pull that up. Sam, do you have opinions?
No, I haven't really watched any of his stuff. So,
Steve, do you have opinions?
I surprisingly have not seen any of those Marvel Netflix shows, so
I tried watching Daredevil and was like, no, thank you.
Wow, really?
I heard very good things about Luke Cage. So
yeah, I always hear good things. I don't know. I never took interest.
I will say this: the first half of Luke Cage, the first season at least, is very good, and then the second half kind of goes off the rails. Like the first half is very much like character work, and the second half gets a little more superhero-y. But while it's still grounded, I think it's like amazing.
So I'll give you. He has written by credits for Luke Cage episode. He's a staff writer on almost all of them, and executive story. So he was never. He has a few written by credits on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. I'll go through those first since I think they're going on at the same time. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tell me if you've heard of any of these. He wrote. Was there like a ghost writer?
There
know
was.
The names of episodes these days? Or...
I'm reading. It's on IMDb. That's true, dude. Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on a network television, so you might know the titles versus something on Netflix where you just like go through them. Although they show up when you. Anyway, this is a whole tangent. He wrote Ghost Rider, Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire, The Man Behind the Shield, Together or Not at All. Tell me if any of these strike any bell. The Devil Complex. Someone listening is going to know what I'm saying.
The second one sounds like Pearl from One Piece, because you said it's the man behind the shield. What was the third one you mentioned?
The third one, Together or Not at All.
That it's Buggy whenever he separates.
No, I like this game that we're playing here.
Yep.
The Devil Complex. That's Magellan? Maybe?
Magellan, yeah, I could see Magellan.
I don't know. And then for Luke Cage, he wrote Who's Gonna Take the Weight? That's
Mach Weiss for sure.
I like
no, it's Miss Valentine.
Or Miss Valentine.
Or Miss Valentine, that's right.
Could be either.
Same power, basically.
And then the only other one I think I see is For Pete's Sake. There's no one named Pete in One Piece, so that
does it say what season it is?
That one's from 2018, so that's I guess the most recent season. 3, I guess, or 2, whatever that might be. That's all I got.
Anyway, if you're out there and you watch these shows, let us know.
He's also done a lot of comics. But anyway, the point is, it seems like things are moving along. I posed the question. I want to pose this to you guys too before we get started, and then we'll get into the manga. How faithfully adapted do you guys want the One Piece live action series? The way I broke it down, it's hard to kind of word. Do you want it to follow One Piece panel by panel, super to the letter? Do you want it to take a few liberties, but generally follow the same structure? Do you want it to be a new take on the story, or do you want it to create something completely different in the world of One Piece?
Well, I would prefer that it was faithful, mostly. I would prefer that it was good, most of all. Like, I don't know if I necessarily... We have a manga, we have an anime. I don't know if I necessarily care how faithful it is, but I want it to be good or at least weird.
Roger, do you have...
I just don't want them to really just adapt East Blue. I want them to adapt some other weird portion of it. Maybe I think Skypiea would be great because it's already sort of like its own self-contained story. So I think like Skypiea done in live action could be really cool.
I would love that, yeah.
Yeah, beyond that, I don't really care. You know, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Whatever. No harm done.
Yep.
My
we
thing has
survived 4
been,
kids. Sam, go ahead.
What I have always wanted the One Piece show to be, I want it to be like a Jim Henson movie almost. Like it's got like not even necessarily that it has to be all
They're
puppets,
all
but
Muppets.
like I definitely want Muppets. I definitely want some of that stuff. But like I want
specific requirements, Sam.
Well, like I
there
want
need
that like
to be
sort of
Muppets.
I want that like sort of like dark children's fantasy. Like I want it to be that kind of like it's Game of Thronesy, but it's like kind of anachronistic and like with Muppets and stuff and like that sounds like
it sounds like the Dark Crystal. It sounds like what you're describing.
Yeah.
Which there's a new season of. Yeah.
Wait, I thought that was a movie.
No, there's a new show that's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is where the
on Netflix
show it's probably going to be.
Yeah, if we had
Probably.
a guess, probably.
I mean,
considering who they're hiring here, yeah.
And the fact that didn't Netflix like put up a page for One Piece at one point, and then like
they did briefly.
They did.
Yeah, that was weird. That's all I have to say about that.
And
Steve,
Cowboy Bebop's on Netflix, so
yeah, that's
the
true.
Action's going to be.
Yeah. Steve, do you have any opinions as to like how faithful you would want to see it?
Muppets. I don't mind them starting from East Blue because I think since it's like a new interpretation of One Piece, you might as well have a beginning. But other than that,
you can't just go straight wacky from the beginning.
Yeah,
like gotta build up.
We need to establish a norm before we go to such great lengths and heights. But I don't know. I just don't want it to look too. What's the right word for this? I remember with the era of like PS3 games when everything was just like brown tinted.
Oh yeah.
Let's not do that. Like, I want it to be colorful, but God, I also don't want it to be so CG heavy. But I don't know. Practical props, please.
With that out of the way, let's get into the manga.
All right.
Cool.
This is the manga recap for chapter 949, Mummy. Before we start the chapter proper, let's talk a little bit about the cover of Shonen Jump, which I think, Steve, you pointed out, might be one of a two-parter. But Ed, do you want to describe what's going on there?
Yeah, Hinomaru Zumo gets the top right corner this week.
The rest of it.
No, I like the I love that yellow One Piece logo, and everyone in their samurai garb. Sanji making his his like merchant, like pensive, stroking his beard face. You don't get to see much
arm inside of his yukata or whatever.
No, I mean, we don't get to see much of Nami and Robin, unfortunately, but Zoro looks very cool.
That's always your requirement.
I have priorities.
Zoro was cool.
Do you think there'll be a second half where we see like the other half of the crew and the other half of Luffy's face?
Of course.
That would make sense, yeah. Roger, do you have opinions or?
Nah, Zoro's cool, man.
Good point. And Steve.
Sanji's cool.
Okay, the interesting arguments. Let's turn to the color spread here.
Oh, I'm not arguing. I'm just making a statement.
Fact, exactly.
Yeah, I know you're all stating facts. Let's talk about the color spread. Ed, let's
talk about
here?
Let's talk about next year's calendar, July-August spread.
Accurate.
Won't feel as weird hanging this one up.
Yeah. I have not changed. Let me put it this way: I've not changed the month in my office. From May, June. What's going on here, Ed?
So we got the One Piece relaxing at the pool for the summertime. Big thing of fruit, giant gorilla with gorilla tattoo. Someone pointed out he kind of looks like Jinbei. He's like a purple, blue.
He's like the right size, shape, and color.
Maybe.
Yeah, Luffy's resting on his belly. You got Chopper on board. Something Burt Ward.
Is it Jinbei in a gorilla suit?
It could be.
It's just
Big
like
Mom,
trading
when
places.
she ripped away his soul, she put the soul inside of a gorilla, homie. That's the YouTube theory going around right now. So there you go.
You know what? That's one of the most creative ones I've heard. I like that one. So you're not mentioning, Ed, here that Luffy is just stealing this gorilla's banana.
He's upset. Gorilla's upset. Look at him.
He's certainly shocked that I trusted you, man. You're sitting on my belly, just stealing my giant
He looks like
banana.
Katakuri. Luffy's mouth.
Man.
Looks like Katakuri.
Man, I work all week and I just wanted to relax this weekend in the pool. Have
some kids stealing my banana.
There's a whole bunch of bananas next to him. You could take another one.
But
I'm more concerned about Sanji not using his snorkel underwater.
As Maddie pointed out, it's for fashion. And,
There you go.
Yeah.
Or the goggles either.
Robin has been glowing on these color spreads lately.
Mm-hmm.
She looked so good.
Yeah, her bikini fits better than Nami's does.
And I like how just Frankie's just defaulted back to the pompadour as he should.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
you can see him sitting down in the background with his back against the thing. Oda's all the way in the background. You can see his arms and legs when he's sitting down like that. There's detail.
I'm surprised when you guys were talking about Luffy eating the banana that you didn't mention the resemblance to that gerbil meme with the little gerbil banana, because that's exactly what this looks like.
I know what you're talking about, which surprises me most of all. Brooke in a banana shirt is fantastic. Chopper, we mentioned, adorable. I think here. This might be Chopper at his most adorable, in fact. And Zoro in character. Or dead. It's really, indiscernible here.
I like the shoulders are big enough to peek out over the water.
Speaking of, we always talk about the fan service on the female side, but everyone's ripped here as well.
Oh, we talked about it in the anime episode this week, too.
Yeah. I mean, Usopp.
Oh, freaking, what is it? Ace's deltoid or whatever.
His lats, his fucking huge lats.
His back.
Yeah, jeez.
We should have had Grant and Dan on to talk about this thing. We're not the weightlifting crew here, as far as I know. So you want to move on to the chapter, probably?
Sure. We're back in Udon Wano. I appreciate we're not getting away from this story yet. We're not getting away from this site. So someone calls out, eliminate the Meddlesome Six. And they're shooting the playgrounds, and Luffy's going wild on these guys. And
is the Meddlesome Six the next Quentin Tarantino movie?
It's more like it sounds like an MCU show.
Yeah.
The playgrounds aren't hitting him, but you could hit any of them really. And Luffy just yells at them, "Knock it off! Where are you aiming?" And go to the next page.
All right. Not me, right? Oh, this is
no,
me.
It is you. Yeah.
And another. Sorry, I'm sure he's a lot more pain than that, but a kablam!
That hurt.
Another prisoner gets shot. What's the scorpion guy's name again?
Daifugo.
Daifugo. I almost said Daifugo.
How the frick did I remember that?
I was going to say that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get a point on trivia now. Go ahead.
He shoots another one, and Luffy's like, "Come on, they're prisoners. They barely had any food to eat." And he launches a gum, and we get Chopper, who very reminiscent to his attitude during Punk Hazard. It's how dare you use viruses as a weapon? We get a combo attack from the both of them. We get a gum heavy stamp as they punch a bunch of.
I squeed a little inside, not like that real squee I did that time. No, but this was really cool. I like.
Yeah, some great foreshortening here. Great, it's a great panel. And Hyo says, "Leave my comrades alone," as he slices up another gifter or whichever. I always forget the names of these guys. And then these other ones run away. They're like, "Oh, it's a demon," and it's
is this Gorilla Man?
It's a Gorilla Man.
Well, we know how the Smile Fruit users are named. They're literally just usually. Oh no, well, I guess not Babanuki, but whatever. Go ahead.
and it's what's her name? Oh God, why am I forgetting names today?
Kikunojo.
Kikunojo. Oh, that's the
Kiku.
That's the reveal name.
Oh,
Kiku.
Also there's a dog man on the right.
Hey, Zach, a dog.
You love dogs. Garp's hood thing.
He just stole Garp's hat. I wonder where I put that. I haven't worn it in like 2 years.
And then cue the music as we get Open Kappa style as
God. That was a lame joke the first time we said.
Write it down. Write it down.
No, it was last week's episode.
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
This is a sumo move. His the sword move. Yorikiri is a force out. You push someone out of the ring. It's a sumo move.
I thought it was a sword. I thought it was a play on onigiri, but it just, I guess, everything rhymes in Japanese anyway.
Yorikiri is the most common type of win in sumo matches, where you basically just push a guy out. You don't, no particular technique. You just sort of push them out.
I think I could do that one. Well, probably not. So we move on to the next page here as Raiju comes in throwing his lightning shuriken. Cool attack from someone who looks weird. And hits a bunch of the, which ones are these guys? Who the hell knows? It's the gifters, the pleasures, and what were the third one? It's the keepers or something like that?
The haters.
The haters. Sure.
Gifters, pleasures, and waiters.
Waiters. I bet you these are waiters.
Waiter, there's a fly in my suit.
I think it's doing the backstroke.
Oh God. Okay. And meanwhile, he throws the keys down in front of Kid and Killer, who's still flying, still laughing away, and Kid just looks distraught here. That is a face. That is definitely a face. He was just dunked under. He was waterboarded. Let's just cut to the chase here. And coming to, and his pride looks kind of just demolished here. Killer is still, and meanwhile, I'm sure he's worried about Killer doing whatever the hell he's doing here. And witnessing what's going on here, we kind of turn the camera to behind Kid as Daifugo, Scorpion Man, the Scorpion King, is shooting his poison or playgrounds, as I keep forgetting is the pun there.
Playgrounds, no place for children.
It's such a stupid pun. I love you, Steven. And Luffy, meanwhile, is like, why do they keep going after the prisoners? Just annoyed by it. Meanwhile, random guy gets shot, and we see, oh no, I've been shot. And we zoom in to see that where he was shot is actually skull-shaped and spreading across his body, and it burns. He asks for someone to help the spreading, but everyone is just telling him to get away. And this is a very freaky and I think effective looking kind of spread of this poison. And Daifugo notes that, I forgot to mention the name of the plague. It starts with heat spreading from the bullet wound, then leads to the burning pain all over one's body and blood everywhere. Blood. Everyone loves that. And Luffy's like, so interesting. Thank you for telling me. He just looks disturbed by the whole thing. And meanwhile, this random prisoner is experiencing all of this. What happens in the next page, Steve?
Then you crap your pants.
Well,
you don't, but that would be pretty bad, right?
You might, because they might die.
But then again, this monologue goes on. It's like the victim is left racked with agony, writhing and crawling for help until they spread the misery to others. As we clearly see one of the prisoners reach and grab for another prisoner's ankle. And while we see others have passed out, it says, just look, that's the final fate of those who contract it. They may as well be dried, rotted plants. And these guys, they like a bunch of raisins in the sun. Poisonous raisins.
They're on fire.
That's what happens.
Like mummies. That's the point of as we find out in a second.
Like a raisin in the sun. And Luffy looks on, angered, and Daifugo says, this is one of Master Queen's greatest masterpieces. And the plague's name is Mummy. because they look like mummies.
He's not very creative.
No. He says, "Now move it, all of you. You are human weapons that can defeat our enemies just by touching them."
I bet you there is a pun to mummy somewhere in Japanese or something. Because there's such hype to the name. We'll ask Steven when he comes back.
Yeah, we should at least acknowledge that thought. But yeah, they rattle towards Luffy and Hio, and some of the other unaffected prisoners react as we hear Babanuki yell out, "Move it, all of you, or do you want to be branded as traitors?" I don't know who's saying this.
I was trying to figure that out. I know. I assume this is one of the six, the meddlesome six. You meddlesome six. We would have gotten away with it too. Yeah, because it's from their point of view. In the end, all of Udon is our enemy. So I assume.
Yeah, as all these infected prisoners surround the meddlesome six as they close in.
That is such a cool panel. I like that panel a lot. Yeah, it's like a very understated panel to give so much space to, but it's creepy. Sam.
Yeah, we turn the page and we've got some of the prisoners saying, "Please just get out of here. If you hadn't showed up, this never would have happened. Even if you are the red scabbard Akazaya samurai who supposedly died 20 years ago, you still can't win. Not against that enormous flying dragon. Not against Kaido. No one can stand up to the might of the Animal Kingdom pirates." And we've got Luffy and Kiku. Kiku's kind of pulling up her mask to listen, I guess. And Kawamatsu and Raizo. "Just look, just one weapon created by one of his followers wreaks this much devastation. Witness our futility against its power. That's right, if you outsiders hadn't come along, even life at Udon would have been normal. We wouldn't have suffered like this." And Luffy grits his teeth. He's not liking what he's hearing. And he just grabs the guy's cheeks and squishes him like, "Hey, shut up." And Kiku's saying, "No, Luffy Taro, he must touch them." And you can see the poison, I guess, spreading on his arm. And obviously the audience is wondering, like, okay, how does Luffy's like immunity to poison factor into this? But it does seem to be spreading, or whatever it is.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's not poison, so it does affect.
It's a virus, I guess. And it's like spreading on his arms, spreading on his face, and it gives the whole group like one big bear hug with his like stretchy arms. It's like, "Oh, you stop it!" And they're like, "What?
We love you too." Roger.
So, while Luffy is still hugging everybody, one of the people says, "He touched us himself?" And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson then responds and says, "Is he insane?" As Raizo also says, "What are you doing, Sir Luffy? You call this devastation?" Luffy cries out, "You call this overwhelming power?" And I got to say, just like sidebar, this speech of Luffy's is one of the most hyped things that we've seen in this entire Udon prison thing. This speech gave me chills when I read it the first.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is like almost uncharacteristically well said. So
Luffy,
we'll talk about that at the end. Yeah.
While holding these prisoners back, you could see the burn going up his face. You could see he's bleeding out of his nose. He said, "You call this overwhelming power? This stuff has no effect on me." And Chopper immediately calls his bluff. He's like, "You got to get away from them, Luffy. Please don't do this." Luffy then says, "The samurai I know are all strong and hardy, but you guys are all broken all the way on the inside. What do you mean normal life? Obeying every order they give you? Living off of dumplings? Is that normal?" And then in one fell swoop, he throws all the prisoners to the ground and says, "Open your eyes. You're nothing but slaves." As all the other prisoners who weren't part of that giant bear hug look on in shock at Luffy's proclamation. And then you could see, sticking out from behind the rubble, our little friends, Tama and Momonosuke. And they look happy as can be, despite all the crazy stuff going around them.
Well, not Momonosuke.
Well, yeah, Momonosuke's a little freaked out.
To be fair, he's always. Yeah.
A couple chapters ago, he's like, "No, we're going to stay right where we are. This is where they told us to stay. We're going to stay here." And he says, "You think they look well? he looks dreadful as Thomas saying, "No, they're fine. They look good."
Yeah, it's the Statler and Waldorf of One Piece.
Very much.
Well,
same age.
Yeah. Well, now we have some YouTube theories we could get to. So we
I just want to see the fan art of Tama and Momonosuke in the balcony. That's it.
Okay. I don't know a good name for that. Okay, so Daifugo says, has he lost his mind? Good question. But Luffy continues his speech. So what if I came from another place? Why can't an outsider help protect your country? Hitting home here. Luffy says, I made a promise with a friend named Tama who fed me back in Curry. I promised to make this a place where you can eat your fill again. And we do a big zoom out from Udon, seeing the wastelands surrounding it, which we had seen back at the very beginning of this arc. And we also go back to Tama, who's like, oh,
look at the skull. The skull is a nice touch.
Oh, no, skull's a very nice touch. The skull looks like it's bleeding out its eye.
It does a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, or I think it's probably a crack.
It looks like it's the commercial. It's the PSA with the litter and the Indian.
Yeah. Or no, sure. So the prisoners continue looking on as Tama looks on. And she has a quick flashback from, again, back at the beginning of this arc, right after Luffy brought the whole sack of food, saying, by the time we leave this country, Tama, it'll be a place where you could eat as much as you want every single day. And Luffy continues his speech. If we can't make that happen, this will always be hell. I already heard about Oden. He was a great man, but the day Kaido killed him 20 years ago was the day this country stopped working, right? We came here to fight Kaido and win. And we get a zoom in of Luffy here, who literally looks like he's on fire and may actually be.
He looks like Baki. Like if anyone's watched Baki.
Oh yeah, he does a little bit.
Yeah, with the hair.
Super cool panel here. I mean, he is not doing well, but it really adds to the punchiness of this, which I think is on purpose there. A lot more to talk about with this, but we'll save it for the end since a few more things happen here. Ed.
So he continues, there's no reason for the people on our own side to stop us. So make up your minds right now. Are you with us? Or are you with Kaido? And Tad's like, you serious? You giving us another chance? And Old Man Hyo, I guess he's just thinking this, but I don't know. I actually don't like this line. I think it puts too fine of a point on it. It sort of puts a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
He's got them now. He's grasped their hearts. Babanuki he's concerned. Their hearts and minds are wavering. There's a big space in the middle. If I shoot it in there, the ensuing panic will turn the tables yet again.
I did not see where this was going, by the way, at all. And continue it.
Yeah. Once they suffer the concentrated power of 200 doses of plague, the plague shot. And he stuffs it in his elephant's trunk to shoot. So he gets the elephant. He's like, I like he raises his arms like he's going, ha 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 ha. Like that.
No, it's Peru, pa 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 pa.
No. Past that. Where he's laughing.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the elephant laughing. I see what's happening there. Mm-hmm. No, I think he's ready to sneeze. I think that's what's happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's how he'll throw it out. Yeah. Go ahead.
What's the Kappa's guy's name again?
Oh, and Kawamatsu? It explains the sound effect. Okay.
What's the Kappa guy's?
Kawamatsu, yeah.
Kawamatsu, of course. Yeah. So he notices Babanuki's going to shoot them this way. They're pleading with him. No, Chief Warden, not that. Anything but that. Too late.
I love the elephants.
Yeah.
So I love the elephant.
But before we get there,
that's the most Disney looking, like, it's like or maybe Don Bluthie. Like, there's a very specific style to that elephant. Go ahead.
It's like a Tantar from like Tarzan or something.
Yeah. It's a very out of Oda's usual style. That's all I meant to say there. Go ahead.
Luffy zooms right in. He ties the trunk. And Babanuki's like, huh? Luffy.
Notice the you and the what.
Yeah, right.
That's fantastic. That is Stephen's piece de resistance there.
No, Stephen could do that.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Luffy looks high and he's like, "Saw a pretty bad future just now." And the elephant, he's going. He's heavy shadows on his face.
I love that.
I love Luffy's expression. Like he knows what he's just done.
Yeah, that is. Actually, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that is the most badass expression Luffy makes this whole chapter, because one of the most badass things you could do is, "Oh, I already won, and I'm just gonna walk away now." Roger.
Yeah, so he pulls a "You are already dead," and the plague shot explodes inside of the elephant's trunk, and Babanuki's head looks like it's going to be blown off. This is an uncharacteristically brutal panel, but I love it.
Luffy's too cool to look at explosions.
And then Luffy in the foreground, shadowed out like a beast. This shot is just amazing. You see the elephant yelling, "Pugya!" screaming, the sound effect, a blunk in the background.
And
the North Star
off. Yeah, exactly.
Not to interrupt, Roger, but is Pagya also the death cry of the Tontada thing? Is that the same thing? Wasn't it something similar? That's Pigya?
Pigya.
Very similar. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Who knows? Maybe Babanuki's half giant, half Tontada.
That's all I'm saying.
There you go. That seems like something that would come up in a future SBS.
Oh my God, totally.
That? Tell Nuda Skywalker I'll DM him. He'll send it off to Oda. We'll be good to go.
We'll let him know. I love the idea of a half
giant who's just like a normal person size.
I know, exactly. I love it. You just end up being a completely normal person. It's just like a normal guy in classes. Oh yeah, I'm half Tontada, half
and like a little tail,
half giant. Yeah, that's the only difference. Yeah.
You're a human too.
Part elephant now.
I am not a human. I am an overgrown Tontada. There's dozens of us.
There are dozens of us.
Go ahead, sorry.
And so we see the guards and some of the prisoners too just going, "Whoa, Master Babanuki, Chief Warden!" And you could see he thumps down to the ground. And Kawamatsu, I love this line. I don't know why I like it, but just I think the delivery would be so funny because he's this little cat. He just goes, "What a capable fellow!" And
I like that too.
Luffy, also, adding to this Fist of the North Star vibe of this chapter, then points and says, "You get the rest." And you see, again, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson looking very scared right now as everyone else is saying, "Hey, stop you." Anyone who defies the jailer in their first offense gets, as the prisoners then respond, "We know, and we don't care." They see that Luffy is taking on Babanuki pretty handily, and the prisoners decide that they are going to rebel. And all of a sudden you see screams. You get a great shot of the outside of Udon Prison, Raz and Gyaz. And then we get this narrator box, which excites me because I think this means we're probably going to finally move away from the stuff in Udon. Yeah. We see 8 days to the great battle, and without the main army knowing, Udon is pacified. I'm kind of surprised there's not a doo-doom there. But Old Man Hyoden says, "Brilliant work, Straw Hat Fellow. You've brought us one heck of a ringer, Kinemon." So hopefully Kinemon can hear that. Or maybe the next chapter will start off with Kinemon, maybe his ears are ringing or something because someone's talking about him.
It's a sneeze,
no,
right?
You
in
sneeze,
Japanese. Yeah. You sneeze, right? Yeah.
We've decided to rebel is another line that's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
They did take that line out.
So
to be
deep,
fair.
Luffy.
No, but that's just one of the prisoners. Like, who cares? Give them the hackneyed lines. It's fine. So that's gonna do it for 949. So good chapter. Let's go around the horn first. I have tons of thoughts, but I'm sure you guys will address them. Roger, you want to start?
Yeah, I loved it. I think artistically, it's a beautiful chapter. Even just some of the panels, like the early panels with Chopper and Luffy fighting against all the other the guards and everything like that. I mean, everything from that to Kid sort of admitting defeat in that moment when he stands up and he's looking at Killer and he sort of sees all the other stuff that's going on in the prison and he realizes, well, maybe I'm not as strong as I thought I was. I'm interested with Chopper mentioning about the stuff with the viruses, if he's maybe going to heal these prisoners, because Chopper's whole dream is, to cure any illness. So I could see him maybe curing the illness of these prisoners, but then also curing the Smile Devil Fruit side effect of not having any emotion. And maybe that's how Kid eventually gets on their side is, Chopper helps Killer. And then just, like I said, these attacks are uncharacteristically brutal for One Piece. I mean, just like that explosion with Babanuki with the plague shot inside of his trunk. I cannot wait to see this animated. This is just one of those chapters, especially with the way that the Wano anime is going right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to look so good in that animation style. So yeah, I'm completely about this chapter. And I'm, again, really excited. I talked about this on the last page. I'm excited to finally move away from Udon. I've actually enjoyed a lot of stuff in Udon Prison more than a lot of people that I talk to.
Do people not like it?
A lot of people on YouTube do not like it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are.
Roger's in touch with the people.
I know. I agree. But I actually have been thoroughly enjoying it, and I think this is the best way to sort of end it. And now we'll be able to move on from it. And I also, like that they also address what we found out a couple chapters ago with Caribou. Saying 8 days of the Great Battle, and without the main army knowing, once again clarifying that he took all the smart Denden Mushis, so no one's going to know about this. I thought it was brilliant. Luffy's expressions too. I know you guys brought that up, but during that I saw a pretty bad future and putting his finger out saying, "You guys get the rest," and standing in front of Babanuki during the explosion. He just seems like he doesn't seem like a stereotypical shonen main character in this. He seems a lot more badass than that.
And he seems like an 80s Shonen Jump protagonist. Yeah, a little more than a today one. I just want to add one thing to what you said. Uncharacteristically brutal, but with the most Looney Tunes kind of preface to it. Like literally tying up the trunk of an elephant to essentially maybe pop someone's head off. Like I don't know if that's literally what's happening there. It's very hard to tell.
Well, it looks like.
Yeah.
He'll live. He'll tough it out.
Okay, next, Steve, do you want to go through your thoughts?
Sure. I think I want to reiterate what Roger said. I think this is us getting out of Udon, which is good. I didn't have a problem with Udon. I think we had a lot of great memories and manga recaps going through this portion. It was really cool. I totally forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, Luffy's kind of like immune to poison. So
yeah, but
it's a virus.
Yeah, Sam and Ed pointed it out, I think, that it is a virus. It's not poison, which is why it is kind of affecting him. He's just, I think he's just going through with I don't give a shit. Right.
Well, he's got, he has the will to keep fighting and, sure, Zach. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great moment to Luffy, Luffy not letting despair get the better of him like it has a lot of these prisoners. So, tonight's going to be a jailbreak. So, like to see Chopper do a little bit of stuff, kind of just, like I said, kind of like a callback to his attitude towards Caesar and Punk Hazard. So, other than that, I don't know, it was fun. Some really great action panels here. I don't think there was as many gags this week, but just, seeing an elephant man just explode is, it's doesn't get any better than that.
No. Really
other than that, I could have swore when Luffy was pointing, says, "You get the rest." I almost thought I was going to cut to Midoriya from My Hero Academia, start crying.
Sam.
Yeah, what an exciting chapter. Did we talk about this panel where Luffy's saying, "We came here to fight Kaido and win"? Because there's some weird stuff going on with his bangs.
Well, they're on fire. I think that's the steam. It's
like the steam going over his bangs, but they also look like they are just different parts of his bangs showing his forehead. It's really.
I feel like Bangs on Fire would be such a good name for a band.
Oh,
steam from the see Sam, that's steam from the steam bangs we're having.
Okay, I'll write that down.
Steam bangs.
Wait, are we gonna have 2 episode titles named after bangs?
Yeah,
I don't know. It bangs, man.
Why not?
Bangs.
It moves, Zach.
Oh no, those bangs are from Utica. Go ahead.
The story kind of had an uphill battle with these prisoners, because I don't think most readers right off the bat are gonna be too invested in their hardships specifically out of everyone that we've met in Wano so far. But it really goes somewhere interesting with this virus and this like poison, and Luffy trying to persuade them like just through sheer grit, just through being a badass. And like I think there's really a lot of power in the way that he's sort of like he's hugging them, but in like a tough way. You know, he's hugging them. He's like, I'm taking on your pain just so that you understand that we're on the same page about this. And that's really, really good. And the I saw a pretty bad future scene. Like, you know, we've ever since like the Katakuri fight wrapped up, we've been wondering like to what degree are we going to see Luffy like using that new observation hockey. And you know, it seemed kind of weird that it hasn't come up more frequently since then. But like, I think that this is such a satisfying answer to that, like that question of like, when are we going to see more of that? Because it's like, it's so carefree. It's so like, it comes when it needs to comes.
Right.
And then Luffy's there to see it. Yeah, I think this is a great chapter.
Very well said, Sam. Yeah. Ed.
I loved a lot about this chapter. Just the way that things were drawn in particular. I'm enjoying Babanuki and like the Kawamatsu and also them all fighting. But mostly what I wanted to talk about is the sort of political message that Luffy's sort of making here. Because previous chapters we talked about the people of Wano have to rise up for themselves. But at this point, we're getting Luffy deliberately and directly inspiring them, giving them this massive speech about, you know, you guys are broken on the inside. You have to go out and you have to take it, and you can't just hide in here and be slaves. And there's a message about sort of opening up, because Wano is this closed society, as we're told, and Luffy is inspiring them to see that things that come from the outside can be okay as well. Why is that? Why is it inherently bad? Why can't I lead you just because I came from somewhere else? So
I mean, especially with what the president's been saying lately.
Right.
I don't know. I think Oda's mostly. I honestly think he's mostly thinking about Japanese politics.
Right.
Which are going through similar stuff.
Yeah, very similar.
It just feels very well timed.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of surprisingly explicit political messages in what is Wano? The most. And yes, in particular about Japanese politics in Wano, that are surprising, coming from, like, it's impressive to me, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, that it's the message of One Piece is it's a lot more anti-establishment than Japanese anime and manga get to be. A lot. There's like, you're literally fighting the government. You can't be more explicit about the fact that the government did something bad in the past and they covered it up, and it's key to their legitimacy. Like, we're fighting against an illegitimate sort of, well, you don't know what Roger saw at the end of the Grand Line, but there's something there
at the end of the Grand Line.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I don't know. There's
I was ready to answer.
There's I don't know. It's I'm enjoying it.
You make I thought the same thing, especially reading through it now. And I know we're going to get people yelling at us because, I mean, and understandably, politics are really like, you know, keep politics out of my anime. Well,
I think he's also speaking to a specific sort of attitude in Japanese culture that says that things that, I don't know, they're very devoted to the specialness of Japanese culture and how it is different from everywhere else.
And more importantly, and you said it super well there, Ed. One Piece is an inherently extremely political manga. And if we avoid talking about those things, I think we're turning a blind eye to what I just am addressing because I know we're going to get comments about it. I think we're turning a blind eye to something that Oda is explicitly trying to get across.
It's like something that Dragon Ball never would have touched. Dragon Ball was a much more apolitical show, and things like let's say Naruto or Bleach we're supposed to believe that like there is a good establishment, there's a good hierarchy. Like the people at the top aren't necessarily bad. The people at the top of the One Piece government, they're not good people. Like, they're the villains.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say One Piece changed kind of shonen generally, because that kind of thing has turned a lot. Two series that come to my brain, Promised Neverland and Attack on Titan, both have bad establishments. At least to start with, for one in particular. And you know, I think One Piece definitely set the pace. You just go into the world, you're following pirates fighting what's essentially an evil government. I think things definitely get more gray. I think One Piece does such a great job at making everyone's motives kind of like, well, I understand even the worst characters, maybe we don't know about Blackbeard yet, obviously, but like even Sakazuki, for example, who is a complete dick. Let's just get that out of the way. Right. You understand where he's coming from. He is doing his job, and to be fair, he's doing it pretty well.
Well, that's actually not who I'm even talking about. I'm talking
no, I know.
Yeah. Celestial Dragons and the Elders and Inu.
That's much less gray and much more.
I mean, Sakazuki's a bastard. He's actually a very bad guy.
I think
no, he is. But he has motivation. You understand.
Just based on what you guys are talking about right now, though, I think that's what was so interesting about that Reverie chapter where Shanks was talking to the Gorosei, where people are now questioning, like, who is he really working for? Like, whose side is he actually going to be on? And I think once we actually get into that story and the explanation of that scene, things are going to get a lot more interesting. So,
and this is a bit of a tangent, but to get back to why we started talking about the political nature of One Piece, this speech from him, I mean, we've had explicitly said in the Zoar arc, you know, open up Wano's borders. That was the message that Odin laid forth onto us. And you know, this is such an explicitly anti-isolationism. And you get that. I mean, that is One Piece. One Piece is, you know, explore the world, explore people around you, diversify, find common ground in your fellow man, no matter where they are or what they are. And that's One Piece. That is the message we get constantly in this series. It's beaten over the head. And Luffy is saying it, and I think the reason why, I think, as Roger put it, it's so hype and it's such a cool speech coming from Luffy, is he is explicitly stating that like he is channeling Oda, or Oda, he's Oda's conduit here. He's like, guys, you know, and I know Japan's going through a lot of this like rebirth of isolationism and rebirth of like, we gotta, you know, it's kind of a reversion. Ed, you know more about Japanese politics, I think, than I do. I'm kind of speaking out of thin air here.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
No, but that there's Abe's going back to kind of the
Abe wants to revise the Constitution again.
Exactly. He's kind of going back to that, not isolationism, but certainly somewhat.
Of all people, I mean, he'd like to reestablish the empire that his grandfather lost. So,
yeah, and Japanese politics, as Ed and I could tell you from way back, is incestuous the right word? There's like a lot of
it's even more dynastic than American politics is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's only one real party. It's insane how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Japan doesn't get enough shit for being a one-party state.
Yeah. I
mean, there are opposition parties. There are. It's been one party. It's been basically one party rule for 70 years.
And there are factions within. That's what they were called, right? I'm trying to.
Yeah, they do.
You know that there are factions within the LDP, right?
Yeah, the oddly named Liberal Democratic Party.
Democratic
Party, but yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so for those interested in Japanese politics, we'll end it there. Steve has already ran away. But I just want to say
to learn
that I think Oda does such a great job doing that. Stepping back, I really do love this chapter. It is an action-packed chapter with some fantastic action. I love the Luffy Chopper stuff. The Kiku stuff, I feel like we're walking on shards of glass constantly. So every time I see her, I'm like, oh no, I don't know what Oda's gonna do.
She didn't do much this chapter, honestly.
She did, but everything she did was great, and she was great. So that's great. We get, I love the, what great examples of Luffy. You guys mentioned this, that in order to kind of express his opinions, he acts. It's show don't tell. That is Luffy. So just the giant bear hug is just such a great example of that. Sam, I think you mentioned that pretty well. Although the opposite is Hio, who is tell don't show, as Ed said. He's a little on the nose constantly.
Although that was that he was having internal monologue, which Luffy never has.
Yeah, to be fair, Hio is the reader there. I think is kind of what's supposed to be getting across there. And I still love Kawamatsu. I know
it's the drama equivalent of like how, whenever a weird thing happens, somebody has to announce that a weird thing is happening.
Constant and everyone has to yell it simultaneously.
Yeah.
I think that does it for me. Do you guys have any thoughts? Sorry if we went off on a bit of a tangent there. No. Okay, let's go. Let's do some anime. Ready for that, Sam?
Oh yeah. Which is actually a pretty appropriate episode. Like, there's some real synergy with Tama between the episode and this chapter.
That's true.
Actually, one quick thing. Can I throw one extra thing in there?
You can.
Just because I was thinking about it, I was thinking back on what Sam was talking about and what you guys were talking about. One thing that is interesting that we didn't really touch on with Luffy's speech and like why it's so epic is when he mentions we came here to fight Kaido and win. And like every single story arc, it seems like we get Luffy making one of these speeches, and he always sort of results to, with like Doflamingo, I'm going to kick Dofi's ass, or I'm going to punch Big Mom in the face. Like, it's always that. And just a simple wording instead of like, I'm going to beat Big Mom, him saying we came here to fight Kaido, to me implies, and we've been seeing a lot of this during the Wano Country arc, it implies that like the battle with Kaido, this stuff in Onigashima, isn't just going to be as simple as like Zoro versus another character 1v1 or Luffy versus another character 1v1. It's going to be all of these team battles and the importance of everybody sticking together and rising up against the oppressors. I'm so excited to see what the next act is going to bring us. I still think we probably have quite a few chapters in this act to go, just because I'm expecting still quite a bit more exposition and some questions answered. But on the whole, I think it's really cool seeing how Luffy's character has grown and him making that proclamation instead of just saying, I'm going to beat his ass,
He does kind of say that.
I mean, he does, but it's done in a way, especially like where he's bear hugging the prisoners and things, where there's more meaning to it.
It's about other people, not just
Exactly.
I was going to say, I think we're getting close, I think, to the end of the second act, it feels like.
Man, I have no idea what we're doing with the act structure right now because Act 2 has been so much longer than I expected it to be. So I don't know if this is actually going to be like a 3-act arc.
Isn't that the case with traditional kabuki theater? Act 2 is like normally a lot of the exposition, right? Where like it's normally longer than the other acts, and that like 5 is a really, really quick one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust the theater major.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust you. I was gonna say, I'm gonna trust you. Okay, let's get into some anime and then some piece together.
All right.
This is the anime recap for episode 894, Heel Come, The Legend of Ace in the Land of Wano. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have Ed.
Hey.
I'm
kind of sad. I'm kind of sad because we're not going to be able to talk about Wano for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, that's true. This episode is so good.
It's very good. Yeah, like the title card and
And the next 2 episodes are going to be Stampede filler. Although I'm not as that doesn't sit as weird with me as it does for other people, it seems.
I mean, if it wasn't the beginning of Wano, it wouldn't bother me at all. Like, you can put filler in whenever, but I actually want to watch.
Started.
No, it's not even that. I really want to watch this.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job so far. Like, if you're going to put random filler 2/3 the way through Whole Cake Island, I wouldn't have complained.
Right. Okay. So our title card begins at 3 minutes and 23 seconds, and the title card is set to Ace's very ripped back muscles.
Like that. That's very well drawn.
Yeah. Between Zoro and Ace, it's these dudes are being drawn by people who definitely want to fuck these dudes.
Good. I had enough of that on the other side for years.
Yeah.
Equality.
So the episode begins with Tama kind of explaining how she got kidnapped. She was going out to buy some groceries, and then there were some of Kaido's men, and you got the Komachio and the baboon, who we will later know as Hihimaru, and then her talking about the Kozuki clan, and that's what really got her in trouble. She wants to repay the favor back to Luffy and feed him some lunch at her place. There's this really cute sequence where they're parking the Sunny in the little alcove by the shore,
conveniently leaving out how they managed to do it, which they did in the manga too. I'm like, did Luffy just lift it by himself?
I guess. I mean, I bet he's strong enough to like push it upright, but then he would have to navigate it and know how to drop the anchor, like the little paw anchor.
I'd like to see him lift it. That'd be. I don't doubt that he could. I'd like to see it though.
They're riding on the Komachio and Hihimaru. And Tama's like, "Oh yeah, Hihimaru. I just came up with that name," which I think it's just monkey and the sound a monkey makes, right?
Yeah, Hihi is that kind of. I think he's a baboon or something. But actually, I was thinking this as I was watching the episode that this whole scene doesn't make sense. There's food on the ship, but then they did a scene on the ship with the food, which I don't think was in the manga.
Oh. Yeah. So they kind of going through the woods. It looks great. I love how all the bamboo and the green forest looks.
Mm-hmm. They're taking visual chances. Like I was watching a very old anime movie this weekend called Lock the Superman, and they do these weird things where they interpolate like live action things and like do weird things with animation. Like they love to do these like spin around shots, like they did it like Water 7. In One Piece. They did it occasionally, but like I appreciate that they're trying stuff now that they weren't, a few weeks ago or before Wano.
It's some really like movie quality direction.
Mm-hmm. The water looks different than it used to. Like I think they're using more computer animation.
Tama does her little like bewitching kunoichi dance.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna grow up and be a strong ninja girl.
Yeah. Do you get the part where they were doing like the flashback and they did it like it was like drawn on a parchment or something?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're getting that soon.
I'm moving ahead. Okay.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that the water looks great. The forest looks great. The little waterfall in the river.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sequence where Tama is like cooking the rice. It looks like a children's picture book.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's it.
It's really cute. It looks great. Luffy. Oh, and I don't recognize where this music comes from. I think this is a new track.
I'm not good with knowing the BGM.
So Luffy eats the rice very fast.
I like the way he stares at the tanuki. The tanuki that we learned is actually
sitting on its balls.
I did not look for that.
It doesn't really come through in the anime.
Okay.
There clearly aren't any balls that it's sitting on. But that's what the cushion's
Damn,
there
SPS
for.
lied to me.
Yeah, that's what the cushion's there for, apparently. So Luffy, he eats the rice super fast. There's this whole little skit where she's surprised at how fast he eats it, and like he's bad at hiding the fact that he wants more.
He makes great faces, like the face when he's staring at the oven guy, the oven tanuki, and after, like that's a face you've never seen Luffy make before, and the anime pulls it off really well.
And Tama's still doing a lot of like cute ninja moves and making ninja noises and stuff.
Mm-hmm. They have a chemistry.
Yeah. Tama is charming as heck in this episode. So Luffy has eaten all the food. Tama's stomach growls and she's like, "Oh, excuse me, I need to go use the bathroom." But really, she's just hungry. And then the moment she steps out is the moment that the Tengu mask man arrives, and he's like towering over Luffy, and he looks really menacing with like the light against his back, so he's kind of silhouetted.
Yeah, I was watching the I just noticed how like he's just wearing like foot tall sandals. Yeah. But he's actually a normal sized person, like Luffy sized person, with like Although he does have kind of like big hands and feet and a big head.
I always figured he was pretty large.
I mean, just looking at him without this, like if I guess without the sandals on, I think he'd be about as tall as Luffy, but he's much wider.
Yeah. So Hitetsu is kind of scolding Luffy, and that's kind of cross-cut with Tama going down to the river and trying to like calm her stomach and trying to tough it out. Mm-hmm. And you really feel bad for her. Like the episode is just like really, really good at selling us on just like everything Tama's going through.
I don't know. When Hitetsu is yelling at Luffy, it was sort of bordering over into like melodrama, but it's still got like actual tension as opposed to being sort of like gratuitous.
Yeah, he's wondering why Tama would have given Luffy her food because she works all day at making hats and she can barely afford to feed one person, and the rice was he sent her out to go get the rice so that she could have food on her birthday, which is today, I guess.
She gets to eat twice. She gets to eat. She usually just eats like barn grass, and then twice a year she gets a good wet rice.
And I really like. Oh man, it's great when like Luffy's kind of falling over and he's like looking behind him and he's looking at I guess it's like the garden and the toppled over little shrine thing. So Tama arrives. She's like trying to stand up for Luffy in front of Hitetsu, but then she faints because she's been drinking like the polluted water. And Luffy is wondering why. Well, like why if the water is bad here, then why is a little child living here? And it's where, as Hitetsu says, it's basically where she's waiting for a certain person, who's a man named Ace. That brings us to the eye catch of the episode. Still just Luffy and Zoro.
Yeah, the other characters haven't been introduced yet, so I guess we can't have their eye catches.
I mean,
it doesn't make sense to because normally, even like back throughout the whole history of One Piece, like most of the by far, it's like more than half the time it's Luffy gets the eye catch.
Yeah,
in like 50% of all.
Usually, when they get a new batch of eye catches, they usually start with like one or two, and then like slowly finish animating the rest, I guess.
Yeah.
So we come back, and there's a lot of buildup as we're waiting for Luffy to reveal to Tama that like, oh, I know who that Ace guy is, and that guy sadly has passed away. But Luffy is much more blunt than that. He's just like, oh, that guy Ace, he's pretty dead.
He's dead.
And Tama is distraught by this, and so she's like unconscious. They've tucked her away, and Hitetsu's scolding Luffy again, like, no, you should be more delicate with a child's feelings than that. But Luffy's kind of holding his ground, like, hey, crying about it's not going to bring him back. Better get that out of your system real fast. So we get to know Hitetsu a little more. He's Tenguyama Hitetsu, a swordsmith, aka beautiful girl Kokeshi doll collector. So he's like a waifu doll collector, basically.
He's the Smithers of One Piece.
Yeah,
he's Melvin Stacey dolls.
He goes on to explain kind of like what happened to the village, and it was attacked by a man named Diaz Drake, who turned into a dinosaur and beat up a bunch of samurai. And
actually, one thing we kind of skipped over was when they came back from they did the thing with the bells, like when Luffy had his little flashback with Ace, like right after the eye catch. That was done really well. I mean, even if it is just kind of filler, but I really like that moment.
Yeah, I don't think that there is a single wasted shot in this episode. I think they make use of their time shockingly well for how little content is being adapted. This is just a great episode across the board. But to get through the summary, Diaz Drake, I can't remember if Drake was mentioned at this point in the manga or not. It might have been.
They do that cool thing where they draw an X in red across the screen.
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They're talking about doing things different visually than. It's a little outside the box.
I like how early we're like establishing the worst generation members who are going to be hanging out with Kaido's crew in this arc. Yeah. Like we got teases of Hawkins last week. We get more of him this week, and then also, by the way, Drake is definitely here. He's definitely a part of this, which I think was only in the cover stories for the manga, so the anime audience wouldn't actually know Drake was working for him yet.
Yeah.
So we get the whole story of Ace ending up in Wano. He kind of drifted onto shore, him and his pirate crew. There's a whole kind of story about how the local villagers like took all their food, all the pirates' food, and ate it. And Ace basically just let them. He let himself like stay tied up, and then when the food was all eaten, he just like breaks out of the ropes because he's fire. And he's like, "Oh, hey, was that good food? Was that delicious? Want sweets?" And then there's a little montage of Tama and Ace being BFFs that is really good.
Yeah, it's like they're definitely like they're not blood related, but they're brothers. You know, they treat people the same way.
Yeah. And then the last scene of the episode is like Hawkins and his crew on like some elk, and they're riding throughout the desert, and they're getting the news that some of Kaido's henchmen have been beaten up on the beach, and Hawkins is saying, "Don't tell Kaido, I'll take care of this." Dun 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 dun. To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued in 3 weeks, right?
General thoughts on the episode, Ed?
Oh, I want to. It's great in the anime. They're taking like I love the story already, and the beginning of the arc is always some of the best One Piece anime. Like it always gets bogged down in the middle, so I kind of worry about like when the anime is adapting the stuff that we're reading right now. Mm-hmm. But the beginning is usually always good, and they're definitely trying things visually, and the pacing hasn't started to bother me yet because I like all this material. And it doesn't feel like anything that they haven't added anything like that's superfluous. It all feels natural. It all works for me right now, and maybe it'll wear off. But I like the visual style. I like the pacing. I like Wano, and the anime is reflecting that. So, and also just doing anything new would be is gonna feel good at this point, because One Piece anime was so much the same for like it felt the same from like I don't know. Since like the end of Thriller Bark, like ever since like Impel Down, like we've gone through parts that are good, parts that are bad, and mostly parts that are paced poorly. And I don't know, feels like we're improving.
Yeah, there's I think this episode knocks it out of the park. I feel very confident about where we're at with the Wano as an adaptation right now, because it feels like they are. Yeah, they're slowing the story down, but they're making sure that it's all with purpose. The amount that I'm like I liked Tama a lot in the manga when we first met her. Mm-hmm. I love her now. Like I care about her.
Die for her.
And this is the kind of the emotional groundwork that like the rest of the arc needs to be standing on top of. Mm-hmm. And
there are other future characters that are going to need that kind of connection as well, because they get really emotional arcs later on. So we'll see how consistent they are with that. That's a good way to judge it, maybe.
Yeah, I think that this is the best of these first 3 episodes so far. I think that it's got such a great like director's eye, like every minute of the whole episode. This episode is directed by like Aya Komaki, who I recognize from. She's done a lot of like really standout episodes. Like she did the Tea Party Guests musical episode.
Oh, and there's your answer about who's drawing all these men this way.
I don't think she's necessarily drawing them, but
no, I know, but she is the director.
Yeah, I think she's like regularly one of the best in the show, judging by the ones that I remember, like thinking like, oh, that was a really good one. Oh, so this one woman.
You know more about the staff than I do,
and I don't know that much, so I can't. I'm not. But yeah, I loved this episode. I feel like I just feel very reassured that like they really want to tell a story with the adaptation. They're not just it's not just a Xerox of what Oda did. It's like let's make this the best version of the story we possibly can. Mm-hmm. Let's fill in the blanks that Oda couldn't. Let's bring things to life that maybe don't come across completely in black and white.
Yep.
I love it. It's basically perfect as far as I'm concerned. So,
right on.
Anything else you want to say?
No. Let's move on to the next segment.
Let's do that.
This is already the Piece Together segment. What do we got going on, Ed?
This piece.
Sam, what do we got going on Discord?
Our first disc piece comes from Herper Briller. How many of you are going to open Pokemon Go for the first time in 3 years to check out this One Piece X Pokemon collaboration? Also, all those Pokemon questions finally paid off. Sorry, Zach.
I was gonna say time for the Pokemon segment.
I will catch at least one Straw Hat Pikachu just to say I did it.
Yeah.
I've never played Pokemon Go.
I open up Go on occasion, but I really don't play it that much.
I played it so much that first summer, and I cannot touch it again. Like, it makes me feel nauseous thinking about it.
See, I still play it pretty regularly, but this is one thing that this got announced, and I thought, like, oh, this is going to be this awesome giant One Piece collaboration. But we already had Pikachus with Straw Hats in Pokemon Go 2 years ago.
Oh, did we?
They literally already put that in the game. The only thing
are they reusing the same?
No. Hat? So this one has like the red band on the Straw Hat now.
Okay.
But they already did the Straw Hat Pikachu thing. So I already have like 3 fully evolved Raichus with Straw Hats that are named Luffy. So,
the Raichus keep them?
Yeah, the Raichus keep them. And the Pichu, if you hatch a Pichu, has it too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go just got so complex, and I'm so far behind. I just don't think I could ever catch up anymore. So it's just fun I will catch, because I could still do that at least.
I left Chicago, and the game ended for me.
I guess, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Pokemon Heart is in Chicago.
Boy, let me tell you.
Any more Pokemon? Sam, what's next?
Our next disc piece comes from Windfire, who says, looks like Zach's mask question finally got unmasked as being false. I think he's talking about Kiku's mask, whether or not.
Yeah, no, I realized I was wrong while we were doing the recap last week. So I understand.
What is going on with the extended version of the podcast on Patreon? The release seems to be sporadic. I just want to know if there's some sort of schedule or something, so I know when I can expect them and wait for them instead of starting the regular release.
Yeah, that's just my fault. I've just been insanely busy lately. Sorry.
We also don't do it every week, so.
Yeah, I usually only do it if there's like enough content to justify it. This week,
Zach, there's plenty of content this week. Don't you worry about a thing.
I know. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be trying to. Usually they will come out on Wednesday because they do take me a lot longer to edit. But yeah, I will try and do them regularly. I will do my absolute best. So maybe. Sam.
Our next disc piece comes from our good friend Joe. I had a horrifying thought while thinking about this chapter. Smile fruit users like Babanuki as seen through an X-ray or in like one of those human anatomy diagrams you see in textbooks. So imagine how like Hold'em or Babanuki look in like X-rays and stuff.
Steve, do you want to draw an anatomically correct Babanuki?
Pay me more.
Go ahead, Sam.
Our next piece comes from Grimpiece, who says, so Babanuki's dead, right? I mean, what Luffy did there was borderline a Mortal Kombat fatality. Double fantastic. If you count the elephant, too. Plus, I think this might be the first time that Luffy and Chopper have gotten their own combo attack. Yeah, also, is it just me, or does Robin's face on the color spread seem a bit off? I think one of her eyes is a little small.
Is it the first combo attack they've done? I really don't know.
They were both in the 700 million jackpot on Thriller Bark, right?
Yeah.
Or were they?
No.
No. Chopper wasn't there. Yeah.
So
that was everyone but Nami, Usopp, and Chopper.
Right.
This might have been the first time. It was cool. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. Yeah. I hope we see more of that kind of thing, even though I know we won't. Anytime soon.
And then, our final disc piece comes from Narthon, who says, on the Boichi one-shot, who knew Mihawk had the world's most perfect teeth? All straight. He even has his own wisdom teeth. Seriously, though, nice art there.
Yeah, that guy can draw teeth.
Yeah. And that doesn't...
Gross teeth.
And for those wondering about the extended edition of the podcast, we do a whole discussion on that one-shot. Kind of accidentally. We ended up talking about it for a while. Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised. I mean, he has a very suave, debonair quality to him. I'm not surprised he has good hygiene in that department. Any other questions, or is that it for Discord?
That should do it.
Okay, let's move on to emails. First one comes from Just Martin, and he says, I know it's a running gag in the series, but that Zoro seems to have major difficulty involving getting from point A to point B, but upon a recent reread of the series, something dawned on me. Despite having a penchant for getting lost, Zoro always seems to be able to quickly find the nearest number one swordsman in proximity to him. He found Mr. One pretty quick. He was dropped in front of Ohm after a series of misadventures. He was the first to meet up with a CP9 fight. He was able to track down Ryuma. And even on Shawbuddy, his sense of direction led him straight to Rayleigh. That one is especially funny in my point of view.
Real recognizes real.
That's the thing. So his thought process is, under normal circumstances, Zoro can't navigate like a normal person. But when there's a worthy swordsman around, he seems to be drawn to them. Maybe it's the curse of Katetsu that he was warned about. This could explain why Luffy ran into Kaido so quickly upon being equipped with Katetsu. The swords just attract trouble. Thoughts? No thoughts.
Cromulent.
No, I like that. I have noticed that in the past, even though I've never put that into words. Like, that's definitely... I thought that was like kind of more of a running joke from Oda, that even though he is the worst at getting places, he somehow gets to his destination first a lot of the times. Often by happenstance. Okay. Sounds like that's it. Next question comes from Tori Danger, who says... So I finally decided to reread One Piece from the very beginning, the legal way, after hearing how easy and cheap it is. And it's been the best decision I've made in a long time. It's been a week, and already they are on chapter 155, which formally introduces my all-time favorite villain, Sir Crocodile. So thanks to Ed for urging me to reread when I wrote in a few weeks ago. So this leads to the question. Who are some of your all's favorite villains? And also, with the capture of Udon, do you think that the base of operations for the Alliance, do you think that that's going to be the base of operations? I misread that question, but you get it.
I mean, they're in control there, so.
Yeah, I think it's the best place so far. The ruins of Odin Castle have been thoroughly destroyed. Favorite villain?
We're just naming our favorite villains?
Yeah, favorite villain.
Right now, it's Big Mom.
Roger?
Oh, yeah, I just said Doflamingo. I didn't mean to talk at the same time. Yeah.
No, it's just was coincidental. Steve?
I like Arlong and Eneru a lot.
Yeah, that sounds right. Ed?
I've always been a big fan of Crocodile.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I like the... Spendin was such a bastard.
Oh yeah, I love to hate Spendin.
It's different than liking Crocodile, but he has a unique badness to him.
Yeah, I love Croc. I don't know if Smoker counts. I don't know. I mean, I love Smoker regardless. I mean, I like most Marine villains. That's where I land. So I think everybody talked about Sakazuki before because I'm fond of him as a villain. That he is great to hate in my opinion. Like he's a real bastard. And I reread Marineford since Grant was reading through it, and I couldn't stop myself.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And he's very effective, I think, as a villain. There. That changes all the time. Like I think, for example, Lucci I didn't love as a villain originally, and I think he's gotten much better since his return. I think the stuff with him in the Reverie was effective, though short. I think him just he is a consummate professional. He loves killing for hire. As what's his name from Rick and Morty?
Something Michael.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Next one we have is from Matthew Bowles, who said, while things are going down in Udon, I'd like to take a minute to talk about my boy Law and why I thought the fight with Hawkins could be a piece of cake. It boils down to the body swap. I didn't really think about that.
Forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure Oda may have remembered.
Kind of breaks.
I mean, we've been in Udon.
Yeah. He goes on, Matthew, for a little bit about the specifics of it, which maybe we'll read. Sorry, right now I'm recording and it's during a heat wave and the AC is not on, so I'm not reading the whole thing right now. Maybe next time though. But says we're super entertaining to listen to. So that's good. So thank you, Matthew. Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea as to possible way to defeat him. I don't know. I think that's going to do it for emails, but I'm also reading Reddit this week. Let's go through these one by one here. Typeset as the first Reddit question. Thoughts on the direction... Oh, yeah, the high school One Piece series is going to take. I completely forgot. I saw this somewhere. I don't know when or where it was announced, but that there's going to be some sort of high school One Piece series spin-off.
Really?
Based on like the Cup Noodle ad or what?
No. That would be interesting and cool because I love those designs. No, I think it's going to be like the One Piece party kind of thing, like those kind of spin-offs, like they're fun.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Gag comics, I guess you'd call them. I don't know.
I guess they don't have the spirit of One Piece. Like
no,
I haven't really liked any of the spin-offs.
Wasn't there an Attack on Titan Junior High or something like that?
Oh yeah, that's still going on, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I imagine that it's going to be something similar to that.
I think Shueisha's just trying to do, kind of copy that formula. That's what it seems like to me. It makes sense. It's One Piece. There's a contingent that will, and we are that contingent, that will automatically buy anything that says One Piece on it. And I can't emphasize enough, we are that contingent. Next question.
We are.
We kind of answered Natachi's question about Magellan's poison versus Queen's virus. But he asks, which do you think is deadlier? I mean, they both seem pretty deadly to me. I think something that kills you is thereby the same amount of deadly.
They seem to be very painful.
Killed yet.
Yeah. Luffy survived both, but not... I mean, as far as we know, Luffy's surviving this, and I could assume that. Actually, that goes into his second question as to, do you think the resistance to the poison will play a bigger role in his recovery, or does Chopper just need to do his thing? Which I think that's a good question there.
No? I think Chopper has to probably intervene because it's not necessarily a poison, or maybe it is. Maybe the properties are similar, but
yeah, they look more like burns to me than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to also see Chopper just do something.
Yeah. I agree. So this next question comes from JetsFan051. Do you guys think Luffy's actually going to kill Kaido? Because I don't see the government arresting him in the end like Luffy, like Doflamingo, like Luffy. I hope that doesn't happen to Luffy.
I've been saying this since very early on. I still stand by the idea that there's going to be this giant team attack against Kaido. And, at the very beginning of Wano, we got that weird out of nowhere chapter about Blackbeard. I still thoroughly believe that Blackbeard's going to be the one to kill Kaido, that he's going to swoop in at the end of this whole thing and do what he sort of did during Marineford and then take Kaido's Devil Fruit. And then he'll have like the most powerful zone along with the most powerful Logia, the most powerful Paramecia. And then he becomes the overall big bad guy that everybody expects him to be. So I still think it's going to be Blackbeard.
I love that idea, except I was like on board, and then you said like they did a Marineford. I'm like, I feel like Oda would not repeat kind of that same thing.
No, I don't think it's going to be the thing. Yeah, I don't think he's going to show up like with the entire squad, or it's going to be something similar to Marineford. But I think it's going to be something where he gets his hands on the Devil Fruit, and maybe because Kaido and Blackbeard have never interacted, as far as we know. And so, Kaido's whole thing about immortality, be it land, air, sea, whatever, you can't beat him. Maybe it has something to do with the Devil Fruit, and that when maybe Blackbeard negates the Devil Fruit, he's finally able to die.
I didn't think about it until you were saying it, but I think the biggest kind of twist ending here, and it would be a very One Piece-y ending to this, to the Kaido Luffy thing, would be if it kind of goes in the complete opposite direction, because we have that kind of suicide, theme going with him, where he is suicidal.
Right.
So it would be interesting if Luffy somehow convinces him, probably by fighting and punching him, that he does not need to die for whatever reason. and that it kind of, Luffy's greatest power is turning enemies into allies. So
that'd be cool. I'd love that.
I mean, after obviously a very epic fight where Luffy handily beats him in some way, but I'd like to, or the Straw Hats, but that would be a weird twist. I wonder how people would take that. Next question comes from Pencils for Life. Hey, OPP, what are some running gags that you miss and hope make a return in the series? Personally, I miss Luffy forgetting who some of the bad guys are.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, I was thinking that one too.
I don't get that anymore.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we got that.
Are there any other ones?
I'm trying to.
When was the last time Zoro got lost?
It happens
the very beginning of the story arc.
Yeah, I'm making a joke. Of course I know.
I when the topic of a liar comes up, I want Usopp to get more attention. Like I think one of the funniest gags is when Nami is reading through the Nolan storybook.
Oh, yeah.
And when she gets saying like, and then he was executed, and just turns and looks at Usopp. That's a really underrated gag, and I would just like to see more of that. More of Frankie being confused into thinking someone's calling him a pervert.
Oh, like the Duval running gag, that one?
It's always funny when somebody calls Frankie a pervert and he takes it as a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, why, thank you.
I really want to see more of Big News Morgans, like just showing up at major events yelling, "This is big news!"
I think you and me, Roger, and then no one else.
I love him, man. I love him. Whatever.
Me and Casey.
It's us against the world. It's fine.
Yeah. Next question. Page 712 says, "Hey, OPP, just an observation. I know the real reason Luffy had to stop Babanuki's attack. He owns the copyright for Elephant Gun. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Or hope you keep up the great work. Whatever, both. She says both.
If we realize those similarities earlier, we could probably come up with a better title than the one we're going to be using for this episode.
I mean, I guess we could still call. Anyway, hey, OPP, love this chapter. With all the talk of learning better hockey, this one comes from Knife938, by the way. It shows Luffy is growing in another way. Every character in the crew has a role to play. Luffy, and to a lesser extent Zoro, has to lead, and it's great to see him shine in this way. Remember, Luffy wants to be the Pirate King, not the strongest pirate. So, here's the question. What is your favorite moment of Luffy or Zoro showing that they can lead?
Right away with Zoro, at least, like the end of like the Water 7 arc, him kind of just like making a stand and saying like, "Hey, you're the captain. You can't just let Usopp rejoin. He made his choice." Zoro taking initiative like that was something we did not see very often. Well, from time to time, but nothing quite on that level. Luffy leading the March to Arlong Park.
Yeah,
I really like it when Luffy has to like make a tough decision, but he does it like pretty quickly. Like even when he decides to let the Mary go, or when he decides to train with Rayleigh for 2 years, he sees like the reality for what it is pretty frequently. Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys haven't mentioned like Luffy declaring war on the world.
That's a good one.
During Enies lobby.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or like similar to the Arlong Park, the march on Frankie House. I guess
Frankie
it's
House.
Frankie House. And Luffy has a lot of really great leader moments. I mean, Impel Down's like a great example. I mean, that's not his crew, but he is, he's the leader of that. I'd go so far to say, Yeah, that's all I got. That's all for Reddit. Ed, it's time too.
Peace the tweet. Yeah. Peace tweet time.
Tweet. Yeah. Ed.
Yep. Here, first one comes from Pongzilla, who says, "Do you think Perona's ghost hollows can, make a different emotional effect besides turning people negative? Could she make people positive, silly, or angry? Stay awesome." Thanks.
I will do my best. Yeah. It's a good.
Ghosts are they're inherently bad, aren't they? Like,
yeah, I was thinking they're like the hollow is a Japanese pun, right? I think that's part of it. That's also her laugh. So I'm assuming it's like a play on words with hollow and feeling hollow or something like that. I don't know. That's my guess. So my guess is no. I'm assuming it's just the negative thing.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Next one comes from the Immortal RA, who says, Shimotsuki Ryuma was the legendary samurai that handed Shusui over to Zoro. I don't know where he's getting Shimotsuki from, but the village in Zoro's childhood was named Shimotsuki Village, and Daimyo Tonoyasu's full name was Shimotsuki Yasuie. Was Yasu a direct descendant of Ryuma? Did he know about Shusui?
Where did he get the full name of Ryuma?
I don't know how he got that to be Ryuma's name.
Is that in... I don't know if... Do they say the full... Oh, it says on the One Piece wiki. So where do they get that from? Let's see if they source that.
From Wanted?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's from Wanted. I have Wanted here, but I can't read Japanese at the moment, unfortunately. I feel bad.
Maybe
Steven is at
San
Diego Comic-Con this weekend, which is why we're a little crippled in that department. I'm assuming it's in Wanted. Let me pull it out. Maybe I could figure it out and use my very, very elementary Japanese skills. Meanwhile, you could continue. Yeah.
Well, anyway, next one.
I mean, I don't have any theories to that other than that's interesting and weird.
It is,
and I'm sure there's some connection if that is the case.
Peter Jensfeld says, do any of you have a scene or moment from the anime where you prefer the dub instead of the sub version? I've started to enjoy the sub voices more and more, but Stephanie Young's performance in the I Want to Live scene gets me all the time.
I love Angry Colleen.
Yeah.
Finishing blow against Crocodile.
I think sub, without a doubt. The Arlong arc, I prefer subbed. I just watched that so many times when I was younger, and the dub is good, but doesn't quite hit all the notes that the original does. Plus, Arlong doesn't have his laugh.
I like the dub. I've watched all the episodes of the dub, but most of my memories of the anime are the Japanese voices.
I will say this. I prefer the dubs of the new movies over the subs.
Oh, I like Keith Silverstein's performance in Film Gold. That's the one.
I think the script in the dub of Film Gold is a little bit better because they just added in some more One Piece gags, and it's just really like the movie just benefits way more.
Mm-hmm. That was very good. Roger, I was with you when we saw the
Film Gold. I'm in complete agreement too. I think I don't really watch the dub of the show, but I do watch the movies, obviously. And yeah, I thought Film Golds and Film Z's were both great, so that would be my choice.
All right.
Next one comes from Usopp the Great, who says Otama weaves hats for a living. Maybe someone in her family's past wove the straw hat for Roger. It's a different kind of straw hat, but it could be.
Yeah,
or emu
possible.
straw hat.
Yep. Just gonna say that.
Or all of those straw hats.
Someone needs straw hats.
So many.
Check the tag. Oh yes, made in Wano.
I like that. I think that fits because a lot of like the lore of One Piece, the poneglyphs in particular, seem to have some sort of basis in Wano. So that fits. Go ahead.
Okay. Next one comes from Arch Cools, who says, I had a dream last night where I took off Robin's cowboy hat, but there was another one under it.
I miss her cowboy hats.
Yeah, they were nice. Dark Leviathan says, funny, we all thought that Chopper was going to spend time developing a cure for Big Mom's hunger pangs, but it's clear that his role in Wano will be to reverse most of the plague effects.
Plague.
Right, by Queen's weapons. I'm sure he will cure Big Mom later on. I didn't really think about him fixing Big Mom's hunger pangs, but I do think that this, trying to fight Queen's bioweapons will probably be what he's doing in this arc.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really long-term stuff with the kind of the Kaido's weapons of mass destruction, both Caesar's stuff and on Zoe, what Jack used and what Queen's using now.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be satisfying when that comes to an end because Chopper finds the cure or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, next one comes from Pim Paul, who says, do you think Kid will change his attitude after witnessing Luffy do such a heroic deed? Or will he keep on not caring about how much a bad attitude he has?
We talked about that a little bit during the manga portion. I feel like he's going to change his tune when he sees Killer get saved by Chopper. That's my guess. I think it's going to be something where like Chopper cures the illness of the smile, and then he sees, oh, okay, well, since you helped Killer, now I'm in your debt.
Mm-hmm.
And Kid is clearly going through some existential issues at the moment.
For sure.
I think that's why we have like 2 full panels dedicated to him there. It's I'm very interested to see where that goes. And if we're leaving Udon, there's going to be like a narrative gap. Like we might see next time we see Luffy and Kid, they might be together and fight. Like a little more camaraderie there. Who knows? Like. Versus the kind of sibling rivalry thing that they had been doing.
All right, next one. Keith Hibbs also had a similar comment, but it's basically this. It was the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Michael Dreyer says, "Hi guys, which of the Straw Hats pirates would read Shonen Jump the most? Which current manga would appeal to whom?"
Ooh, that's a really good question. Yeah.
Well, Sanji would love Food Wars because he loves food and he's horny.
And
yeah, like, come on.
I feel like Frankie would definitely like Chainsaw Man.
Oh yeah. The little I've read of it, yeah.
And Nami would definitely be all about Dr. Stone with the science stuff.
I would think she would.
Robin would definitely like Promise Neverland.
For sure.
Yes. It so appeals to that is perfect Robin comic.
Does anyone know anything else? What else is running in Jump?
I'm trying to think, yeah.
Who would like My Hero Academia the most?
Luffy would like One Piece.
Right.
Ooh, this is about me.
I think Usopp would probably like My Hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Zoro would be Demon Slayer.
Sure. Yeah.
I need to read that. Yeah.
It's a good anime too.
I heard the anime was great. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about Black Clover, Sam? Since you're a resident Black Clover expert, do you know who would be?
Does anyone actually like Black Clover?
Huh?
People like Black Clover? Like
some people do.
Okay.
I feel like Brooke would like JoJo, and I also think he would use his Shonen Jump subscription to do the back catalog for Bleach.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think he'd like I think Brooke would really like Yu Yu Hakusho, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's too close to home. I don't know, since he's already dead. All
right. Wes the Fitting says, it's crazy how much empathy Luffy feels. He understands what the prisoners of Udon need to see better than even Hyogoro, and even Kid looks like he's starting to be drawn in. This didn't feel ham-fisted or unearned either. We're lucky to have Luffy as our protagonist. It's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Quick Quest. Garrett Carter says, if there was anything you would cut from the Dressrosa arc to tighten pacing, what would it be? Personally, I hate to say this, but it's Sabo. He's a footnote in an already overcrowded story and doesn't get nearly enough screen time to warrant his inclusion.
Bro, Garrett, the birdcage is right there, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
right?
Seriously.
And we don't need to know so much about every Coliseum fighter, and there were too many members of the Doflamingo family. That's the other, because everyone has to have a fight.
How many members are there of the Grand Fleet again? There's 10?
No, there's Orlumbus.
No, like captains, like the main ones.
There's
10, right?
There's Idio,
7.
there's Leo, there's Cavendish, there's Bartolomeo, there's Orlumbus, there's Sai.
Haruden.
What was that?
Did you say Haruden?
Haruden, yes, that's another one.
See,
but you guys are just talking about the captains. You're not even talking about the people we focused on, like Don Shinjao, who's like under Sai now, technically.
Yeah,
and then you've got Abdullah and Jeet, and Blue Gilly is also there.
Okay, but like what I'm saying is Don Shinjao as an exception here. All those other people we don't need to know about. I don't care about Suleiman.
Jean Ongo.
Okay, maybe Jean Ongo.
No, Jean Ongo's a bad guy. He's not part of the Grand Fleet.
The Funks.
Yeah, because we got to do that. Because we got to do that gag with the sideways well, and the Funk Brothers got to be there for it.
That was the worst. That was my least favorite part. No, I'm sorry. That was
kind of pointless.
It was just that my least favorite part, but that definitely was the biggest waste of time in that arc.
Which part?
At a time when at a time when you like there was a lot of forward momentum, and then Luffy's trapped in the well.
But that part wasn't that long, was it?
No. It was a couple chapters. Yeah, but it was. It's anytime anyone gets trapped in anything, it's my pet peeve, as everyone knows.
That was it. That's the last.
That was it. Okay, let's do some trivia and round off. You guys ready?
Okay.
Ready.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 579 for July 21st, 2019. There's a heat wave going on. I know you guys don't care, but we're going to go through this quick. You could find us on Patreon at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast, where we have over 3,500 photos from our trip to Japan, videos, extended episodes, as we talked about, more coming. This week's is going to be especially great just from what we've already recorded, from what I could tell. We're all delirious. That's all you need to know. So you can check that out. That'll be out around Wednesday. We also have exclusive episodes. We're doing our new series, Crewing Around, which is going to be monthly in all likelihood. So our next episode should be out the first week of August. Where lots to talk about there. We also, what else do we have on Patreon? A million things. Well, OPP, the full OPP Japan documentary from 2013. That's available for all patrons, $1 and up. So with that out of the way, where could people find all you guys? Roger.
You can find me at RogersBase on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram. On YouTube, I do weekly live reactions to the One Piece manga, as well as One Piece discussion videos and theories. And on Twitch, I'm currently doing a watch-through every Tuesday and Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time of Hunter x Hunter. So I'm experiencing that series for the first time right now. I just got to the beginning of Chimera Ant, and it's amazing. It's really good, so check that out. And look forward to more Japan vlogs. I've got some more coming. I have one from the Mugiwara store in Osaka, the Jump store as well. And so look forward to all that. Thanks for having me on.
How many Mugiwara stores did you visit?
3. I went to 3 of them, not including the Jump stores that were like in Character Street at Tokyo.
I'm guessing the one in Shibuya, the one in Osaka, and the one in Tokyo Tower.
That's correct.
Okay,
those and in Tokyo City, right? You went to the Jump store.
I went to the Jump store. Yeah. And I did the Jump store in. Yeah, exactly. But I went to 2 Jump stores because there's one that's the bottom of the Tokyo Station, and there's another one that's in Osaka, and I went to both of those.
Okay, so you visited one more Jump store than us, but the same exact Mugiwara stores.
I was on the hunt for Hunter x Hunter merchandise. There wasn't any anywhere, and I just so happened that the store that was in Tokyo Station had those really cool Crollo Hisoka teacups. And so I picked up one of those on my way back. But I looked everywhere for Hunter x Hunter stuff, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I was hoping for some like odder series merchandise, or not odd, but like less popular series merchandise or older series. But it's hard to find.
My favorite thing was I got a Promise pen from the Jump store. I loved that. So
nice. Okay, Sam, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. They can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece and Black Clover. And they can find me on the One Piece podcast every week doing the anime recaps.
Steve.
Hey, you can just follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Steve Yurko is the username. And listen to me on other podcasts like The Deep End and Toon Sweet.
Thank you, Steve. And you're going to be on Terry's podcast soon, right? Obscure
Chatter? Since that was announced, I will be on the next episode of our good friend Terry Doty's new podcast, Obscure Chatter.
Cool. I look forward to that.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk at length over a movie that we both really like. That's all I'll say.
Are you allowed to say what it is? Yeah, no, I'm guessing.
No.
Okay. We'll find out then. And Ed, where could the good people out there find us?
Well, I'm at Edward E. One Piece. I'm also available at Weeb Trailers. I posted a Funimation trailer for Shin-Chan the other day, and no one retweeted it for like the first 8 hours it was up. Then I tweeted like, cowards aren't going to retweet this, and they did. So a couple of people at least. Like I wouldn't want that on my main timeline. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know how they got away with airing that show on television, but. Anyway,
Japan's an interesting place, as we discussed earlier.
Well, but the Funimation dub is so punched up and like. I mean, it's gross. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Anyway, check out Shin Chan. Anyway, you're Zach_Logan. I'm Edward E. One Piece on Twitter. And the podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is the email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. Subscribe on SoundCloud. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Call us on our phone number, Zach.
The phone number is 347-497-MAGI.
Maji.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime. With your questions, comments, theories, or why you spoiled my plan, you meddlesome six, whatever. So I'm tired. Let's do some trivia. So this week, we're going to do part 5 of our Vivre card trivia until I come up with something better. We'll do something better or different in the next few weeks, I think.
Can't guarantee that it's better.
That's true. But we might go back to some of our old format stuff. But please let us know if you like the trivia segment, if you like these, if you like other things better. Otherwise, I have to just keep torturing. Steve, are you the one who didn't like it? I can't remember who was.
I'm just really sucking at it. So
didn't you win one or no?
No,
you haven't won yet. We'll get you there. Okay, so this is how it works. Roger, I know you haven't played this yet. So, goal, get to 3 points. What I'm going to do is you're going to pick a number from 1 to, what is the highest number here? I think 1 to 1,000.
What?
No, there's cards over 1,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only have one. 1032. So 1 to 1032. And when you pick that number, I'm going to pick the closest Vivre card to that number, and you have to guess who it is. Please do not use your Vivre card to cheat.
Oh my god! All right.
I'm going to give you an assortment of hints about it. So we're going to go in the order we did the manga in. So it's going to be Ed, Steve, Sam, and Roger. Now the key to this game is that you get a certain amount of time, and then everyone else is going to get a chance to steal in that order.
Wait, so you're talking about like the number on the card for the character?
Correct.
Bro, how do you do this?
So, for example, number 1
they're clues.
Yeah, I'll give you clues. So, for example, I would give you like Luffy. Okay, I'd say,
all right.
You don't know who he is, so you have to try and guess that it's Luffy. And I'd say, oh, he's 5'5". He's 19 years old. He's 174 centimeters. He's
the same height as Luffy.
He's the same height as Luffy.
Oh, got it. Okay, so you're giving okay.
There's sketches of his alternate design on the back. Like I'm gonna
got it.
It's like a Vivre card trivia game. So Ed,
got it.
First to 3 wins. If you don't get it, it gets stolen. You have a certain amount of time that I make up. Ed, go ahead. Pick a number.
Okay. 50.
Okay, 50. Starting early here. We don't have 50, but we do have 49. Oh no, we do have 50. There is a 50. He shares his card. So do they have specific character traits about number 50?
Is it a big number and a small number? Or which one's the big number?
Is 50 the big number?
What are you talking about?
Like when there's 2 characters on the same card, usually one is like the big one, one's the little.
Got it. I will answer your question. 50 is slightly smaller. He is born, I believe, on July 23rd. I don't know his birthday or his height or his blood type.
He's born on July 23rd, but I don't know his birthday. Is that what you said?
Did I say that? Is that what I said? Blood type, I think I said. I'll give you a hint. He is an animal. He is him with his human companion together are 304 centimeters to Luffy's 174 centimeters. There is him on the back, both as a vehicle. That's going to be really confusing.
Oh, okay.
There's also him on the back as an angry boy. Go ahead.
Richie,
yes. Good job,
right.
Ed. Yeah, that was a harder one, so I was giving easier hints as will happen.
Oh, man.
It's really hard to describe Richie. Steve, pick a number.
Crap. Let's go with 514.
A big jump. 514.
For me, that would be in a different book.
No, it's in my same book. I separate it by time skip. It's my personal. Yeah, because eventually,
I just kind of split it in half, so it's actually like going back to like Sabati for me.
Yeah. 514. This man is born on March 19th. He's 31 years old. He's 256 centimeters. His blood type is XF. If you turn to the back, there are sketches of him. There's a sketch of his ship, which I've never seen and is so amazing. And I wish I saw this earlier because that is so fantastic. There's also pictures of him as a woman and as a kid. And he's doing his hair. He's got a little comb and a little piano next to him.
It's Scratchman Apu.
Yeah, and his ship, his masthead looks like a giant like tuba horn. It's amazing. That's all I have to say. I didn't know how to make that like that was a very hard one to do like a hint about without being too obvious. Sam, we'll get harder as we go.
950.
All right, here we go. 950. Going to the end here. Or toward the end. Okay. Let's see who we got. I'm gonna do. I think we did 949 already, so I'm gonna do 954. She's carrying her weapon on the front. She's born November 1st. She's 28. She's 181 centimeters. On the back are some alternate character designs of her wearing some scantily clad clothing. This again could be anyone. On the front is her helping Nami with her outfit.
Is it Wanda?
It is. I'm going to do a harder round after this because I realize my hints are pretty good this one. Roger.
Can we choose numbers that are like right after the number that somebody else had?
You can,
why not?
But
Okay, sure. I'm going to do 515. The reason I say this is because I feel like I'm going to be real bad at this game, but I know what characters are in what sets. So if he just had Apu, I'm hoping it's just one of the supernovas.
All right,
that's a big hint. Like knowing the ranges of the cards is kind of
absolutely. Yeah, that's the best strategy you could give.
All right, cool.
Okay. Born, so that means I'm going to make this a little harder for you. Born October 24th, he's 33 years old, 233 centimeters compared to Luffy's 174. He is blood type X. So I would have given you the hint, and this is kind of hinting at the same thing anyway, that on the back is him as a kid and him as a woman and a picture of a ship, which I've also never seen. I'm trying to make out what's going on here, and it is impossible. That is just a bunch of scribbles. And on the back is a picture of him in his devil fruit form, mostly silhouetted. And it looks menacing. I'm trying to think if I could do this without giving this away anymore.
What did you say his blood type was?
That's a first.
That's the best joke I've heard all night. X.
Yeah, all right, I'm going with Drake.
Oh, you just knew the answer already, didn't you?
That's why I asked the blood type.
Oh.
Because I thought you said X, and I was
like... Oh, you knew? Wait, did you know?
Yeah.
Do you know Drake's blood type?
Right. X Drake. I'm trying to think
something
of
oh, nice.
And I knew that it was the number around the other supernovas, and so I'm like,
no.
You're approaching this game correctly, Roger.
Okay, you are, Roger.
Because I don't want to be embarrassed. I'm on the middle of the podcast.
You have approached this game more strategically than any other person who's played this so far. Good. So I will say that. Ed, go ahead. Let's be a little less cheap this time.
666.
I'm pretty sure someone's done that at some point, but let's find out. Oh god.
How about 777 then?
Oh no. Okay. We could. Yeah, let's do 777. In my other book, that should give you one hint right there. 777. Do we have anyone? Oh, we're into some fun stuff here. Okay, there's a big jump. Do you want to go up or down?
Down.
Okay. We've done this character, so I'm going to do the one before that, 747. There's a before and after picture of her. Born October 25th, she's 23 at the current time, 160 centimeters. Her blood type is F. There are some character sketches of her both in her kid mode and her adult mode, where she looks a lot like, kind of like a hybrid of Robin and Nami, because of course. And what else is there that is interesting? And she's taken pictures on the back is a panel of her taking pictures from the manga. I'm trying to be a little harder this round.
Yeah,
since I was pretty.
I'll go with Monet.
No, Steve, would you like to take a stab?
Can I hear the hints again?
Yeah, she. There's before and after pictures of her on the front. Again, this is 747. October 25th is her birthday. She is 23 years old, 160 centimeters, blood type F. Sketches of her on the back as a kid and as an adult, where she looks kind of like a Robin Nami hybrid. And she is taking pictures on the back. It's a panel from the manga.
What's the number again?
747.
Is it Baby 5?
No. Sam.
It's Koala.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Yeah, you would get that.
Nice.
Yeah, if Sam didn't get that. Steve, pick a number.
Shit. What was that last one?
By the way, Sam is now winning 2 to everyone else has 1. But if Sam gets one more, he wins and it's over. That last one was 747.
Go with 722.
722. He knows what he's doing. Man knows what he's doing now. 723 I'm going to give you. This woman, this is going to be tricky actually. Her birthday is September 9th. She is 29 years old and 520 centimeters compared to Luffy's 174. Her blood type is XF. There are no sketches of her on the back, but there is one where she is screaming. And it's a disturbing scream. Also, one of a relative of hers. Who is this?
What was the age again?
She's 29.
And taller than Luffy.
Significantly.
Significantly taller than Luffy.
5 times the size of? Like 3.5, 4 times the size, something like that. I can't do math off the top of my head like that.
That's right.
Oh man!
I'm gonna give you 5 seconds.
Taller, screaming. It's not.
Say it. Say a name.
Monet.
Nope.
No.
Did you say that last time?
No, someone else did.
That doesn't work chronologically, man.
Yeah, it would.
Sam.
No, we're still in Fishman Islands.
What were some of the details?
Ed, you want to give that? Do you want to tell that to everyone?
Fuck me. I know who it is now.
September 9th, 29 years old, 520 centimeters, blood type XF. On the back, she is screaming, and there's a picture of a family member.
Is it Charlie?
Yes, it is. That's Sam gets the game.
Yep.
Did you say family member for me?
Yeah. Arlong, family member.
Yeah, I was saying, did you say that?
Yeah, but that could have also been Shirahoshi. So I was
when you said
Shirahoshi is much bigger though. She's
she's much younger.
Exactly.
Is the bigger thing.
Yes, that also. Yeah.
She's bigger too, though.
Yeah. But she is also much bigger. Is she in here? Do we have a code for Shirahoshi?
I think so.
Yeah, we must. I'm sure we do.
We have like all the royal family. Got the
It's not that important. Okay, so that's gonna do it. Congrats, Sam. I think that's the second one in a row you won. Yeah, no, you didn't win last time. You won two times.
It's definitely the second one I've won.
Yeah. Once you win, as I said last time, once someone wins 3 games, I will stop. So if Sam wins next time. So that's gonna do it. I forgot to even mention we have a ton of guests coming up in future episodes. I don't have them offhand here, but next week we are going to have Grant on to talk about Marineford since he's going to be all done with it. So we're going to have a special segment for that. And we also have Dan Dockery, who is very excited to come on. He's from Crunchyroll. and we're happy to have him back on. That's all next Sunday on the One Piece podcast. But until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
See you later, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
It's like the steam like going over his bangs, but they also look like they are just like different parts of his bangs showing his forehead. It's really.
I feel like Bangs on
really
Fire would be such a good name for a band.
Oh,
steam
yeah.
from this. See, Sam, that's steam from the steam bangs we're having.